Huh?
Hello, my name is Andrew Rigg. I have my lovely colleague here, Carroll Byrne. We have started just our first podcast or something anyway about Beyond Mindfulness. Now, Carroll, tell all about how it came to be.
So, Andrew, you and I worked together very briefly a number of years ago.
Yes.
And I thought it was a very successful process, and something that stood out for me was your gift of the gab
Oh,
in terms of your incredible capabilities in just coming out with the most amazing clearings and really astute questions that made me, kind of stop in my tracks and really think. And I know we both have been in Access, you much longer than me, but I tend to go, go to the same questions all the time. What would it take, But yeah, your cleverness with words really appealed. And I've been a little bit frustrated of late with, with a number of things. Obviously, the COVID situation has changed people's lives, and it's really it's becoming much more apparent as I research for my PhD that mental health issues and some issues that could be resolved with some of the tools that we have at our disposal could actually help people. Now, the reason I contacted you was I knew that you were a little irreverent, like myself, and I felt that I was dared when I saw this clip. So I'm going to show you something, if I can share my screen with you. So I need you to enable me to.
I've switched to the speaker view.
Yeah, beautiful, thank you. So if I share my screen, no, host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Oh, bugger.
You're good with words, but come on, press a button.
How do I change it?
So anyway, when I first saw this clip that we're going to share, I became really quite offended. I guess I have an interesting point of view about being told to shut up. I was told to shut up as a kid. Pardon that. But the fact that some of our most well-known faces who are supposed to be comedic and lighten the load with humour, we're actually basically saying to Australian people, whether it was funny or not, because there's always a sense of truth, I believe, in humour. Comedy is a bit of tragedy plus time. So,
so you mentioned this called Access. What is that?
Well, so we can't show the thing?
No, I haven't been able to figure it out. I'll have to look at it next time.
Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'll share this with you, and you could maybe share it. Could I send that to you?
Sure.
Yeah, so while I'm sharing that, Access was something that I came across. I had a stroke. I have subarachnoid hemorrhage, and post-subarachnoid hemorrhage, naughty dogs, really. I became very anxious. So very anxious about dying as such. And every time I had a headache, there was something wrong with me. And I sought other avenues instead of the doctors telling me that Valium was my best port of call. I had a very young son, and I didn't want my life to be zombied through in terms of, my responsibility with him, but also my relationship with him. So I sought other avenues, and which led me to Reiki for a period of time, where I actually worked on myself very committedly for about a year, and then I went to do all my Reiki master stuff. But in the course of doing that, I found access bars. I went to Brisbane one time, and there was a lady that was running bars, and she was local to the area, and I was going to spend time with my family, who I love very much, as well as my dogs, but they do trigger me. So I went and got my bars run before this big lunch, and I reacted very differently. So that just resonated with me so strongly that I chose to go and do the class with her. I came back down from Rockhampton to Brisbane. I did the class, and then I did 3 classes to teach it. And then within the course of about 3 years, I'd done about 10 classes with foundation and body classes and all sorts of stuff. So there you go. That was my experience of access. And yours?
Mate, I had my first introduction in 2006.
Yep.
I was going through the throes of a separation at the time with my partner. I was not in a good state. I remember sitting on the bathroom with a knife in my hand, going, "Will I? Or won't I?" You know, yeah. So and then a friend at the time who is no longer isn't. She started asking me these weird questions, and facilitating me over the phone. I went and did the first class with her. And at the time was access bars and foundation in the one weekend, not like it is now where they are separate. There I had become a certified facilitator. I'm no longer a certified facilitator, nor a BAST facilitator or any facilitator or event kind right now. I know the tools. I just use them. I apply them to life, my reality, my business, on, and also in my relationship with my lovely wife, Eri. I've done heaps of classes over the years. What's it? About years worth. Yeah.
So I am actually licensed bars facilitator. So I think I would love to share the classes with people so that they can do bars. That would be my ultimate goal, rather than Reiki.
Yeah.
For many reasons, but we'll get into that, I guess, later. Did that thing come through to you?
Yeah, but it's not going to show up easily.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll keep that for next week.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. That's not an issue. I did I was about 28, 29. I am now 51. I had an illness, an unexplained illness, where I was in 1 to 2 weeks, a month off work. Doctors didn't know anything, or they could put it down to was some unknown autoimmune disease. So I started looking elsewhere. I explored homeopathy, herbs, naturopathy, and all sorts of things, and nothing really solved it. I came across this thing called Reiki. I went, "What the fuck is this?" I have no idea what it is. I'll just go take a class. Within about 3 days, all symptoms disappeared. Everything. I went, there's something in this. I better explore. And I did the Reiki class. I became a Reiki master. I looked at all these other energy systems, developed energetic systems, and then EFT, emotional tapping or whatever it's called. Yeah, just think on the
EFT.
Yeah.
Tapping. Yeah. Emotional frequency tapping. Yeah.
It was TFT, which is the same thing as EFT, whereas TFT to become a practitioner. Time was about 100, and to become a practitioner of ET was about one grand. Sorry.
Okay, it's kind of breaking up a little bit. I hope it's not breaking up in the recording.
No, it's all good. So I explored all these things, and eventually came across this thing called, as I mentioned, I was going through a separation at the time, and this stuff that was occurring, and I went further and further into access consciousness.
I've never, I've always been kind of metaphysical, and I got very deeply into after the hemorrhage, but I've never found anything that works the way this stuff does.
Yeah.
And the problem is, the more we need it, the less we tend to do it. Even my husband did the course, the one-day course, so that before we knew we were moving to Victoria, we realised there wasn't a lot of practitioners in the area. And he 5 years I did Reiki, and he probably never got Reiki. He got Reiki more from my practitioner friends than. But as soon as I did bars, I was like, get on the table, you're going to try this, and it led him to actually do the course. And even some of the clearings now, although he says you do your thing, and he respects and supports everything, but when he most needs the clearings, that he starts doing them again. And I've never forced it upon him. Never. It was actually he said to me, I think I should do this, because if we get down to Victoria, then at least we can do swaps, and not that we do it as much as we should, but at least we know we've got it.
Yeah, it's just the same with Mum and I. We use bars about once a week if you swallow regularly. You do the body presses about once a week as well.
Yeah.
We had run the abuse hold on each other maybe about a dozen or more times.
Yeah.
And I've had so I've got
yeah, it's so just like even Symphony of Possibilities. I did the class in that recently, and I sit on the couch with the dog just tapping. Like, we have 3 dogs, and my husband sits on one couch and I sit on the other, and the dogs have to be under my hands, in some way under my hands.
Yeah.
Which, even though he can, he cuddles them, he loves them very much, it's just really interesting that he sits there and he goes, oh, where's my dog? I'm going to get a big one, a huge big dog that will sit on my lap and just let me, I was like, well, we've got to keep, because we don't run bars on animals, but the Reiki and obviously the other things that we can do for them is quite amazing.
Yeah. Animals aren't stupid to have bars.
Yeah, I know. But
I wonder why that is.
But that's the interesting thing, isn't it? So can you explain a little bit more about what your introduction to the concept of the bars, like, what is it? Is it a rod that goes through your head, or, I've got an analogy for me, but what was your introduction to it?
So the best way I found to explain what the bars is something I came up with about a month or two ago. The bars is like a laxative for your head. It gets rid of all the shit that's hanging around.
Oh, what for your head?
A laxative on your head.
Oh, laxative.
It gets rid of all the shit that's hanging around. So you can have something different.
Yeah.
Rather than going to old patterns, old that, it allows you to step into something different.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just creates space, don't you think?
Yeah. But, people don't even know what space is,
Yeah. But don't you think they're programmed that way? And it's getting worse, because here, kids sit in front of the telly, then get your phone to go to the table so you don't annoy us while you eat dinner. And you know, let's go on a family trip. We'll put the iPad in the car so you can watch the movie on the way to get there and not look at the cows or the trees or anything else.
Yeah.
It's just all,
Yeah. This idea of
feeling.
Yeah, it's this idea of creating space. You know, I didn't really realize what it was until I actually had Basra and actually had my phone quite a few times. You know, it's like all that stuff that's going around, and it's going around and around. You know, it's it starts to get a bit insane. You have Basra, just simply having 32 in the head. You know, it just dissipates all the crap.
Yeah. For me, you know, like I was told it was, you know, defragging your computer, but I have a lot of people that don't kind of respond to that. And my analogy was like safety deposit boxes, you know, for love, for money, for success, for hope, for structure, whatever. And when something happened to you, you know, that safety deposit box got filled with a little trigger point, you know, that keeps going into these boxes and they get fuller and fuller and fuller. And when you get your bars run, it's a matter of just them flying open. And it may not all come out at one time, but it releases so much of it so that, you know, you've just got that space, that Japanese garden, you know, the beauty's in the actual space, not in where the pebbles or the you know, the plants are. So.
Is that why I married a Japanese woman? No? Okay.
Yeah. It's funny, we used to have a lot of homestay children that lived with us, and our very first one was a Japanese young lady. She was with her for 6 weeks, but some of our kids lived with us for 4 years. So my son will never ever be racist because he had brothers and sisters from Russia through to Korea to everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
So, which is a good thing. But so what are we trying to achieve with Beyond Mindfulness, do you think?
Well, for everyone, create freedom, create possibility, all of that. You know, it's not a matter of, you know, delving into things, you know, diving into things, trying to analyze stuff. That doesn't work. It has never worked. If you go down that path, so if you go to a counselor or a psychologist who wants you to sign up for 10 years of work, you can imagine getting the bars right and having all that shit dealt with in one session.
Yeah.
That's fast.
I must admit that's why Reiki was never something that I practiced more Reiki on animals than I did people. Because when I was taught it, I was taught a very strict code. Reiki level 1 took me a whole year to master before my Reiki master would let me do Reiki 2.
Yep.
You know, and then it was another whole year, and then the Reiki 3, and then, you know, becoming a master was a long journey. Whereas, and the code kind of said, you come in as my client, I'm going to put you on the table, and I have to explain to you, I don't know where the Reiki is going to go. You know, it will go to your body where you most need it. You'll certainly feel better. But my pragmatic mind was going, oh, I can't compartmentalize that and actually say to you, oh yes, your shoulder that you felt sore, you know, with is now not going to be sore, because it might be your liver that's actually projecting something to your shoulder. So Reiki's going to go there. And then we were told that they needed to have 2 sessions within that week. And if my hands are worth $100 an hour, that's $200 that it felt like I was trying to elucidate from someone, rather than saying, hey, you know, 1 bar session, you might not come back for a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I love. I love it.
Yeah. You know, not come back from why?
What?
Because why?
Oh, just because you feel so good that you know, it's like going back to my husband when he first get his bars run, he would know, and I would see a decline in his behavior and the way he was feeling, and it became really evident even to my girlfriend who became a practitioner at the same time. She was like, he needs it done every week. I'm talking about bars.
Yep.
But he needed to have his bars run that regularly in the beginning because there was so much he needed to release that he was holding into both his physical body and, you know, his being.
Yeah.
And that's a choice people can make, isn't it? You know, they don't have to.
They can have it run every day for 30 years. They can have it run once every 30 years. It doesn't matter. It's up to them. You know, it's up to them as to how fast they would like to go.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, I like them to be able to have a choice, and they contact me or learn how to do it yourself, and you know.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, that's right. Come with a friend or a partner, and you got it in your hands. You don't need to ever come back and pay me money for anything. So, yeah. But what would it take for them to come back and pay me lots of money for lots of things?
Yeah, exactly.
Cheers to that.
I've run out of beer now. Yeah, well.
Oh, you're not sipping. I've only got a tiny glass. I didn't even get one of the big ones.
I'd started before.
You what? You started with 4 before.
Before.
Anyway, so well, what are we saying to people today?
Well, tell me, what is mindfulness? I know you.
What?
What is mindfulness? I know you had a definition in mind. What is it? So,
well, I have a very specific one that I like to use, and you put me on the spot because I haven't got it with me. But it really is being in the moment, mindfully executing every single thing that you do with total attention, with just total focus on one thing, you know, from mindful eating to mindful walking to, you know, picking up this piece of paper and reading what's on it without doing anything else.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the scourges of our society currently, is this effervescent need to multitask and always be busy. I mentioned it on Sunday that I have a necessity to be busy at times. I don't feel like I'm valued if I'm not busy all the time, or I'm not contributing something. So mindfulness makes me kind of detach from that and go,
okay,
right,
so even that beyond mindfulness,
beyond mindfulness is when you don't even have to think about taking that time to just immerse in physical, emotional, you know, the body being, everything is just there, and you could touch something and it's almost like the cells join. I reckon.
Oh, so you mean about just being?
Just being. Yeah. So just being. I find that really hard. So I'm hoping that on this journey I will grow as a body and being to just being.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, there's only one thing that's required in the world that should be hard.
Yes, that's right. But we'll talk about that later. You missed the whole beginning bit that we should have recorded because that was funny. Next week we'll make sure we record it for our loving viewers.
Yeah. So,
do we need to say anything else, or do you think that you maybe should pull some of those beautiful questions, quotes, perceptions about your yin yang, and we could leave people just thinking about the potential of just being, or being.
Well, what does it mean to you to just be?
What was that?
What does it mean to you to just be?
That's a very good question.
What would it create if you were being?
Hang on. Yeah, I'm a singer, not a secretary, so I'm trying to write these down so I can put them in nice posts for us.
Okay.
What does it mean to you to be, to just be?
Yeah. And what would it create?
What would it create?
To just be. If you were just being, you lazy.
If you were just being lazy,
No. You are being, are you lazy?
what would it create if you were being?
Yeah.
And if you are being,
If you were,
are you being lazy?
no, are you lazy?
Are you
Lazy?
lazy? I wouldn't consider myself lazy. Writing a book, writing a PhD,
No.
finishing off TAEs, doing curriculum planning. But yeah, I have trouble with being.
That's incredible. You just don't have enough of it.
I know. It's like, But anyway, so that's exciting. So what are we hoping to do? What are we hoping people would like to do with us?
What we're looking at doing is fortnightly or weekly Zooms like this, or podcasts, or whatever you would like to call them, or you used to call them. We'll invite people to ask questions, to comment, to what they feel like doing. Our target in the next period, however long that will be, as I said, is to create more positivity, more joy, more happiness. To get out of this idea that they have to do in order to create. You don't. What if you just beed? If you were willing to step into just being? If you're being, it doesn't mean you're lazy. It means that you are stepping into another realm of possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you be willing to have that? Would you be willing to attract that, to be that possibility that invites more? That's cool. If yes, that's cool too. Don't care. It's your life. It's your choice. But what I'm interested in doing, Carroll is interested in doing, is creating more for all of us, more for the whole planet. It's not just for the individual. Sure, you as an individual will create more, be more, but that will also create more for the planet, for the whole world.
I just feel the more I can create, the more I can contribute.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying.
And the more we can create collectively, that has a ripple effect for everything.
Yeah. It's not about being selfish as in keeping it all for oneself. This stuff doesn't work that way. It can't work that way. Consciousness does not work that way. It's not about the individual or the self. It is part of it, but it's not the totality of it.
And I think for me, reading a lot of the research that I'm reading for my PhD, people need connectedness more than they need anything else at this time in the world. And we need to wake up to the fact that, we're being disconnected by other forces.
Yeah, but there are so many other ways to connect, and this is one of them.
Yeah, that's right.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Correct. You don't have to touch us and to connect.
No.
All you've got to do is, bring them to mind, so to speak, and you're instantly connected.
But I think that's beyond mindfulness, isn't it? Like
yes, it is.
Someone's in your mind, and then ultimately they ring you and just thinking about you, and you're like, oh, interesting that I put that thought in your head.
Oh, yeah, I've never done that.
No, I'm sure. I never do it either. People seem to be able to do it, but I can't create anything.
Come on, you know how to do it.
Nah. All right. Well, I think it's time for us to go. Your glass needs filled, and I'm sure we have loved people enough. But we do hope that you will join us for the journey, and I am assuming that we will send out the Zoom invite for people to join. If they'd like to, you don't have to, you can watch it later. But it would be nice later on. We do intend to bring on some very interesting people and talk to them about their journey when we get further down the track. But this is just a journey of like exploration and amazing clearings and probably irreverent chat most of the time.
Yeah, probably lots of irreverent chat.
Yeah, I have a very bad sense of humor and I swear a lot. So if that offends you, I'm really, really sorry. Not. The best friends that you'll have in your life swear a lot, apparently.
Yeah, fuck
I'm
that.
sure that came from, CDC or WHO or something.
Oh, yeah, who cares?
Because they tell the truth. Oh.
Okay, well, on that, it's bye-bye, Carol.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Andrew. Very, very much looking forward to this journey and very grateful that you are on it with me.
Yep, thank you. Like I said, it's bye from me. Have fun, guys.